Think about someone who always talks about their big plans, but never seems to follow through. They make grand promises, but never deliver. How do you feel about that person? Frustrated, right? You probably start doubting their words and lose respect for them. This is exactly why actions matter more than words. As Ralph Waldo Emerson wisely said, "What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say." It's not enough to talk about what you're gonna do. What truly counts is what you actually do. What truly counts is what you actually do. When you talk big, but don't act, you're wasting. People will notice if you don't follow through on your promises with real work. It's similar to someone boasting about athletic skill, but never training. Their bragging becomes meaningless because they don't act on it. As Confucius wisely said, a good person does before they talk, and when they do talk, their words match their deeds. To earn respect and trust, demonstrate with your actions that you mean what you say. Actions show you're committed to your objectives, not just making empty claims. Simply put, actions speak louder than words. It's a basic but powerful concept. Talking is easy. Anyone can make promises and brag about future plans, but actions reveal the truth. To understand the importance of actions, imagine a friend who always offers to help but never does. It's annoying when they promise support but disappear when you need them. This behavior makes their words ring hollow. You begin to doubt their sincerity. That's why actions are vital. They show someone's words have meaning. Marcus Aurelius said, "Don't discuss what a good person should be. Be one." It's about demonstrating through your behavior, not just talking about it. If you want to be viewed as dependable, honest, or competent, you must prove it. Your actions reflect your character. For example, a close friend of mine constantly talked about launching a business. He shared exciting ideas, promising success. Months passed, and while he continued discussing his grand scheme, he never took any real steps. He didn't put in the effort, and his words eventually lost their power. People stopped believing him. His actions didn't align with his talk, and the difference between what he said and what he did was obvious. This idea isn't limited to friendships. It's true for everything in life. If you say you'll do something like getting better marks in school, beginning to exercise, or assisting a relative, your deeds must match your words. If they don't, you're just talking without meaning. Doing things rather than just saying things is important in a real-world way, not just in a theoretical way. Folks believe what they witness. They look at what you do and determine if you're dependable based on your behavior. It's simple to discuss making a change, but actually making that change is tough. That's the real difficulty. But it's also where the true payoff is. Just as Ralph Waldo Emerson said, your actions are so clear that they drown out your words. This saying emphasizes the basic fact that what you do shows who you really are. Consider any successful person you look up to. They didn't achieve success by simply discussing their goals. They took action. A dedicated athlete, a hard-working business owner, or a diligent student. Their accomplishments stem from their efforts, not simply their words. Another instance is when someone makes a promise. Someone might claim to support you, but if they're never actually present when you need them, their words are empty. True friendship is shown through actions, not just words. You discover who genuinely cares by observing their behavior, not just listening to their promises. If someone is constantly unreliable, what they say becomes increasingly meaningless. Remember, your own behavior sets the bar for how others see you. If you want to be known as a dependable and effective person, you must take action. Your words hold value only if they are backed up by deeds. Therefore, Concentrate on being someone who not only talks about achieving things, but actually accomplishes them. This approach will make you more believable and earn you the respect and confidence of others. A major problem is boasting. We all know people who make huge promises, talking about ambitious goals, future triumphs, or how they will improve the world. However, when it's time to fulfill those promises, they fail to deliver. This is not a small problem. It seriously damages trust. Consider a person who frequently brags about launching a new company or reaching big objective. They excitedly describe their ideas, creating a detailed image of their future success. However, as time goes by, they don't do anything. The company never opens, the objectives are never reached, and all that remains are broken promises. The issue is this: when you talk a lot but don't follow through, you damage your credibility. People begin to see the truth behind your boasting. They understand your words are just that, words. Benjamin Franklin wisely noted that actions speak louder than words. This saying emphasizes that doing things is more important than just talking about them. It's not enough to make big pronouncements. You need to support them with real actions. When you repeatedly don't keep your promises, it not only affects how others view you, but also harms yourself. Team, you start to question your own dependability. You might even believe your words no longer have the power you once thought. This is harmful to both your connections with others and your self-confidence. Think about a famous. The provided text ends mid-sentence. There's a type of person who boasts a lot, but doesn't deliver. They might constantly post on social media about their amazing upcoming plans, or how they're going to revolutionize things, but they never actually achieve anything. Eventually, people stop paying attention to them. Their words become meaningless, and they lose credibility because they don't back up their talk with action. Now, think about your own life. Have you ever caught yourself discussing grand schemes or aims, but having difficulty turning them into reality? Perhaps you've shared your aspirations with loved ones or co-workers, only to come up short. This can be a revealing experience. It reminds us that doing things is more important than just saying you'll do them. If you want to earn trust and admiration, you need to deliver on your promises. Think about a current project or objective. Are you genuinely moving forward, or are you simply talking about it? If you're finding it hard to act, it may be time to rethink your strategy. Create a plan, establish clear targets, and take regular steps to reach them. By doing this, you'll start seeing real results. Go. Demonstrate that your words are backed by real effort and commitment. The bottom line is this: talking big without following through undermines your credibility. It affects how others perceive you and can damage yourself. Esteem actions are what prove your words to be true. They show that you're not just a talker, but someone who takes tangible steps toward achieving your goals. Next time you make a grand promise or boast about your plans, pause and ask yourself, am I ready to back this up with action? If you're not sure, it might be better to keep quiet and work in silence. Let your actions speak for themselves. This approach helps you build trust and ensures that you focus on real problem progress, rather than just empty talk in summary. The problem with talking big is that it erodes trust and respect. It creates a pattern of disappointment and skepticism. If you want to be seen as someone who can be relied upon, focus on delivering results, rather than just talking about them. Remember, as Confucius said, the superior man acts before he speaks, and afterward speaks, and afterward speaks. According to his action, Ensure your actions align with your words, and you'll earn the respect and trust you seek. Be the guy who does what he says. Let's focus on what sets you apart, being the guy who does what he says. This powerful and rare quality earns you respect, trust, and admiration when you follow through on your commitments. You show that you're reliable and someone who can be counted on. It's not just about words. It's about integrity and character. Epicus once said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This means that a person of true character decides who they want to be and then takes action to become that person. When you make a commitment, whether it's something small, like doing the dishes, or something big, like completing a work project, following through is what truly matters. Let's look at a practical example. Imagine you promised your family that you'd take care of a few household chores over the weekend. It could be mowing the lawn, fixing a leaky faucet, or cleaning the garage. These tasks might seem minor, but there are opportunities to prove your reliability if you follow through and get them done without being reminded. It shows that you're dependable. It builds trust within your family, and they know they can count on you now. Let's take this concept to a larger scale. Consider a workplace scenario. You've committed to completing a significant project at work. It may require long hours, attention to detail, and collaboration with others. You could talk about how you will nail this project and impress your boss. But the real impact comes when you deliver, when you meet your deadlines, exceed expectations, and produce high-quality work. You demonstrate that you don't just talk, but walk the walk. This quality, doing what you say you'll do, is what distinguishes successful people from those who get by. Think about famous figures like Steve Jobs. Jobs was known for his visionary ideas, but what truly set him apart was his ability to turn those ideas into reality. He didn't just talk about creating innovative products. He led the teams that made the iPhones. He led the teams that made the iPhone, iPad, and MacBook a reality. His actions spoke louder than his words, and that's why he's remembered as a pioneer in technology. But it's not just about famous people. There are countless stories of everyday individuals who've built their reputations by consistently following through on their commitments. Take, for example, the story of an unknown janitor named Bob. Worked at a school, and while his job was simple, he took it seriously. Every day, he showed up early, ensured the school was spotless, and even went the extra mile to help teachers and students with whatever they needed. He never boasted about his work, but everyone knew they could rely on Bob. Over time, he became a beloved figure in the school, not because of grand speeches or promises, but because of his consistent actions. Another powerful example comes from the world of sports. Think about practice, and the last to leave. His commitment to his craft was unmatched, and it's what made him a legend. Jordan didn't rely on words. He let his actions on the court do the talking. Let's bring it back to your own life. Have you ever been in a situation where you committed to something important? You ever been in a situation where you committed to something important? It could be helping a friend move, preparing for an exam, or sticking to a workout routine. How did it feel when you followed through? A sense of pride and accomplishment comes from doing what you said you'd do. It's a reminder that you can be trusted, someone others can rely on. But what happens when you fail to follow through? Perhaps you've experienced the opposite. Making a promise and then failing to keep it, not following through, can have serious consequences, whether due to procrastination, distractions, or simply forgetting it. Damages your credibility and constrain relationships. People might start to see you as unreliable, and that's a reputation that's hard to shake. The good news is that it's never too late to become the guy who does what he says. It starts with small steps. The next time you make a commitment, take it seriously. It doesn't matter if it's something minor or something major. Treat it with the same level of importance. Set Reminders break the task into manageable parts. And hold yourself accountable. Suppose you make a promise to help a friend show up on time, and be ready to assist if you commit to a project at work. Give it your full attention and effort. Being the guy who does what he says isn't just about building trust with others. It's also about building trust with others. It's also about building trust with yourself. You boost your self-esteem and confidence when consistently following through on your commitments. You prove to yourself that you can achieve what you set out to do. This self-trust is crucial for long-term success in your personal life, career, or other areas. Being the guy who does what he says is one of the most valuable qualities you can develop. It's what earns you respect, trust, and admiration from others. It sets you apart in a world where many people make promises they don't keep. Remember the wisdom of Carl Jung. You are what you do not, what you say you'll do. Let your actions define your words, not the other way around. By doing so, you'll achieve your goals and inspire others to do the same. Small actions, but big results. Ever wonder why some people achieve massive success while others struggle? The secret is simpler than you think. The difference lies in the small, consistent actions they take every day. You don't need to make giant leaps to achieve great things. Instead, focus on the small steps that build up over time. This is where real progress happens. Let me tell you a quick story about someone who completely transformed their life through tiny, consistent actions. Take the example of James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. James didn't become a best-selling author overnight. He started with a simple habit, writing one article every week. It seemed like a little then, but those articles increased over the years. He refined his ideas, built a loyal readership, and eventually turned those articles into a book that's helped millions of people improve their lives. It wasn't one big moment that made him successful. It was the accumulation of small actions repeated consistently. Now, let's bring this closer to home. Think about your own life for a moment. What small actions could you start today that would change your life in a year? It doesn't have to be anything monumental. It could be committing to reading just 10 pages of a book day, going for a 10-minute walk, or saving a small amount of money each week. Over time, these actions compound, leading to significant results. For example, let's say you start saving $5 a day. It might not seem like much, but over a year, that adds up to $1,825 in 5 years. With some interest, you're looking at over using $10,000. That's the power of small actions. The same goes for fitness. If you do just 10 push-ups a day, that's 3,650 push-ups in a year. You're building strength, discipline, and confidence, not all at once, but through consistent effort. Robert Collier said it best: success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. This isn't just a catchy quote. It's a blueprint for achieving anything you want in life. The key is consistency. Imagine your life as a garden. Each small action is like planting a seed. It might not seem like much initially, but those seeds grow into something beautiful and thriving with time, care, and patience. Think about how this applies to some of the most successful people in history. Take Warren Buffett, for example. He didn't become one of the wealthiest people in the world by making one big investment. Instead, he practiced the discipline of investing consistently, starting when he was just a kid. His strategy wasn't flashy, but it was powerful. He built an empire by focusing on small, smart investments over decades. His success is a result of small actions, compounded over time. Or look at Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian of all time. Phelps didn't become a champion by when he felt like it. He showed up every single day, even when he didn't want, putting in the work that others wouldn't. Each lap in the pool each early morning workout, and each small action added up to an incredible legacy. He wasn't just chasing medals, but building them one stroke at a time. So what small actions can you take today? Start with something manageable. It could be as simple as setting aside 15 minutes daily to focus on a skill you want to develop. Maybe you want to get better at a sport, learn a new language, or improve your grades, as long as you commit to it consistently. It doesn't matter what it is. And here's where it gets powerful: when you commit to small actions, you build momentum. It's like pushing a boulder up a hill. At first, it's tough and progresses slow, but with each push you gain strength, and the boulder starts to move more easily. Eventually, you reach the top and the boulder starts rolling down the other side, gaining speed. That's the power of consistency. Let's keep this conversation going. Speed this conversation going. Think about your life. Right now, what's one area where you could start making small, consistent changes? Share it in the comments or write it down for yourself. The important thing is to start. Remember, it's not about making a huge change overnight. It's about doing a little bit every day, and over time, those small actions will lead to big results. Success isn't reserved for the lucky or the talented. It's available to anyone willing to do the work, and the work doesn't have to be overwhelming. In fact, it shouldn't be. The key is to break it down into small, manageable steps. If you've got a big goal, start by asking yourself, what's the smallest action I can take today that will move me closer to this goal? Then do it, and then do it again. Tomorrow, and the next day. Before you know it, you'll be amazed at how far you've come. Let's make this practical. If you want to improve your fitness, start with a small daily routine. It could be 5 minutes of stretching, a short walk, or a few minutes of bodyweight exercises. If you want to get better at saving money, start by tracking your expenses. See where you can cut back, even if it's just a few dollars here and there. Those small savings add up. Keep your sentences short and punchy. Focus on making every word count. This keeps the energy up and the audience engaged. For example, instead of saying over time these actions will lead to big results, you could say small actions, big results. It's concise, powerful, and memorable. Let's keep things light and relatable. I'm not here to preach. I'm here to help you see how simple this can be. Maybe you've heard the saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. It's a funny way to remind us that big tasks are just a series of small steps. The same principle applies to your goals. Keep it simple, keep it steady, and most importantly, keep it going now. I want you to think about one small action you can take right now. What's one thing you can start doing today that will make a difference in a year? It doesn't have to be big. In fact, the smaller, the better. Share it in the comments, or take a moment to write it down. The important thing is to commit to it. Remember, small actions build big results. Let's get started. The respect you earn from actions in a world full of talkers. It's the doers who command respect. Are you one of them? Let's get right to the point. People don't respect you because of what you say. They respect you because of what you do. Think about it. When was the last time you were genuinely impressed by someone who just talked a big game but never followed through? Probably never. Respect is something you earn, not with words, but with consistent actions. It's about showing up, doing the work, and delivering on your promises day in and day out. Now, let's dig deeper into this idea by looking at someone who has earned massive respect through relentless action. Michael Jordan is widely regarded as one of the greatest basketball players of all time, not just because of his natural talent, but because of his relentless work ethic. When others were sleeping, Jordan was in the gym, perfecting his jump shot, pushing his limits, and turning his weaknesses into strengths. He wasn't just talking about being the best, he was working to become the best. Jordan faced plenty of challenges along the way. Early in his career, he was known as a scorer who couldn't win championships. But instead of accepting that narrative, he committed to improving his defense, leading his team, and pushing himself beyond what anyone thought was possible. His actions, not his words, are what earned him respect. It wasn't just about winning games. It was about the process, the dedication, and the consistent effort he put in over the years. That's what people remember and respect about him now. Think about someone in your life who you deeply respect. It could be a parent, a dad, teacher, a friend, or even a public figure. What did they do to earn that respect? Was it because they made grand promises? Or was it because they showed up when it mattered, did what needed to be done, and followed through on their commitment? Respect isn't something you get just because you want it. It's something you build through your actions. So let's bring this closer to home. What actions have you taken recently that earned you respect from others? Maybe it was something as simple as helping a friend when they needed it, showing up early to work, or consistently hitting your deadlines. These might seem like small things, but they add up each time you do what you say you will. You're building a reputation, and that reputation is what earns you respect. As the saying goes, the world rewards those who take action, not those who talk. Let's see why this is so true. Let that quote sink in for a moment. The world doesn't care about what you say. You will do it. Cares about what you do. People respect those who act and make things happen. And they don't just sit around talking about their dreams, but go out and chase them. It's the action that count, and it's those actions that people remember. Take, for example, someone like Elon Musk. Whether you agree with all his methods or not, there's no denying the respect he commands. Because of his relentless pursuit of his goals, he doesn't just talk about changing the world. He's actively working to do it through Tesla, SpaceX, and other ventures. Musk has faced countless setbacks, challenges. But his consistent actions and willingness to take risks have earned him a level of respect that few others have. It's not just about being a visionary. It's about being someone who takes concrete steps toward making that vision a reality now. Let's relate this to everyday life, whether it's keeping a promise to help a friend move or consistently showing up early at work. These actions build your reputation. People remember how you made them feel, how you supported them, and how reliable you were. It's not about grand gestures. It's about consistency. Over time, these actions add up and define how people see you. Imagine you're in a work environment. There's always that one person who talks big, but never delivers. They make promises they can't keep, and people stop trusting them over time. On the other hand, and there's someone else who might not say much, but they always deliver. They show up, do their job, and exceed expectations. Who do you think earns more respect? It's always the one who takes action and shows through their deeds that they are dependable and trustworthy. Let's make this personal. Respect isn't just about how others see you. It's also about how you see yourself. When you take consistent actions that align with your values and goals, you start to respect yourself more. This self-respect builds confidence, which then radiates outward, influencing how others perceive you. It's a cycle. When you act in ways that earn respect, you feel more respected. And that feeling motivates you to keep acting in ways that reinforce that respect. Now, let's shift gears and talk about the emotional impact of being respected for your actions versus being disregarded due to empty promises. Think about a time when you followed through on a commitment, no matter how small. How did it feel when someone recognized that the feeling of being respected knowing that your actions made a difference is incredibly powerful. It boosts your confidence, strengthens your relationships, and opens new opportunities. On the flip side, think about a time when someone didn't respect you, maybe because you didn't follow through on a promise or talked big, but didn't deliver it. Doesn't feel good. Does it that lack of respect can damage your relationship's reputation and opportunities? It's a harsh reminder that respect is fragile and hard to regain once lost. So what's the takeaway? Here, if you want to earn respect, focus on your actions. Talk less, do more, show up, follow through, and be consistent, whether in your personal life, your career, or any other area. It's the actions you take that will earn you the respect you want. Let's keep this conversation going. When have you earned respect through your actions? Share your story in the comments. Let's inspire each other to be people who act, not just talk. And if you're ready to take the next step, think about one action you can take today to earn more respect. Make it happen, whether it's helping someone out, committing to a goal, or simply showing up consistently. Remember, in a world full of talkers, the doers command respect. Be one of them. The consequences of not acting. Imagine losing the trust of your closest friend, or a big project, or promotion because you didn't follow through on a promise. How would that feel? The truth is, the consequences of not acting can be devastating, whether it's a personal relationship or a professional opportunity. Failing to act on your commitments leads to losing credibility and trust. These are not just abstract ideas. They have real, tangible impacts on your life. Let's consider the story of Muhammad Ali. Let's consider the story of Muhammad Ali. Ali was not just a legendary boxer. He was a man who stood by his beliefs and followed through on his promises. During the height of his career, Ali made a bold decision to refuse to be drafted into the Vietnam War. He knew this decision would cost him dearly. He was stripped of his boxing titles, faced legal battles, and was banned for several years. Yet he stood firm in his convictions and took action despite the potential consequences. Ali's decision to act rather than remain passive ultimately earned him not just respect, but a place in history as a man of principle and courage. Let's flip the script and consider what happens when someone fails to act. Imagine a young athlete who dreams of becoming a professional like Cristiano Ronaldo. He talks about his dreams constantly, but he often skips out when it comes to putting in the hours of practice. He makes excuses, procrastinates, and ultimately misses key opportunities to improve over time. His coaches and teammates lose faith in him. They see his potential, but they also see that he's not willing to do the work. Eventually, the opportunities dry up, and the athlete is left wondering what could have been the lesson here. Is clear inaction leads to missed opportunities and lost respect. Think about a time in your own life when you failed to act. Maybe it was a promise you made to a friend or a commitment you gave to a team. How did it affect your relationships? Did it change the way others viewed you? Perhaps you felt a sense of disappointment, not just from others, but within yourself. Failing to act creates a ripple effect, eroding trust and credibility. The more you fail to follow through, the harder it becomes for others to believe in you. The measure of who we are is what we do with what we have. Vince Lombardi. This quote perfectly encapsulates the importance of action. It's not about what you say you will do, but what you say you will do, but what you actually do with the resources, time, and opportunities you have. People like Muhammad Ali and Cristiano Ronaldo didn't just talk about their dreams. They acted on them daily, and it's that consistent action that built their legacy. Let's talk about the emotional impact of failing to act when you break a promise or fail to follow through. It's not just others who are disappointed. You also let yourself down. The guilt and regret can weigh heavily, knowing that you could have done something but chose not to. It's a feeling that sticks with you and reminds you of the importance of staying true to your word. What about the bigger picture? Studies show that trust is critical to any personal or professional relationship. In the workplace, for example, teams that trust each other are more productive, innovative, and successful overall. But that trust is fragile. A broken promise can create a chain reaction, leading to a breakdown in communication, cooperation, and success. Failing to act damages your reputation and the foundation of your relationships. Let's make this real with a historical example in the world of business. Consider companies that have promised big but failed to deliver. Think about the infamous case of Theranos, a company that claimed to revolutionize blood testing. The company's founder, Elizabeth Holmes, made grand promises about the technology's capabilities. But when it came time to deliver, the promises fell short. The result, the company collapsed, investors lost billions, and Holmes's reputation was shattered. The consequences of not acting, of failing to deliver on promises, were catastrophic. Now, let's turn the focus back to you. What promises have you made that you still need to fulfill? Take a moment right now to think of one promise you've made but haven't kept. What can you do today to make it right? It could be as simple as sending a text to check in on a friend you promised to call, or putting in extra effort on a project you've been neglecting. These small actions can have a big impact, repairing relationships and restoring your sense of integrity. So what's the takeaway? Here, the consequences of not acting are real and significant. They affect how others see you, how you see yourself, and the opportunities that come your way. Don't let inaction find you. Instead, take control of your life by following through on your commitments. Remember, in the end, it's not about what you say, but what you do. Make sure your actions speak for you, loud and clear. Finally, let's keep this conversation going. Have you ever faced consequences because you didn't act on something important? Share your story in the comments. Let's learn from each other and commit to being people of action, not just words, because in the end, it's the doers, not the talkers, who shape the world. How to turn words into actions. We've all made promises to ourselves, whether it's hitting the gym, starting a new project, or finally finishing that book. But why do so many of these promises stay just words? What separates the dreamers from the doers? The answer lies in one simple thing: action. Take the story of Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba. Before his success, Jack Ma faced countless rejections. He could have easily given up, but he turned his words into actions instead. By starting small and consistently working on his vision, he transformed Alibaba from a simple idea into one of the largest e-commerce companies in the world. His journey is a BA's powerful reminder that the most scientific accomplishments begin with the smallest steps. As Steve Jobs once said, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. But loving what you do means taking that first step, even when it's tough. Think about that for a moment. Loving what you do isn't just about passion and commitment. It's about turning your intentions into reality, even when it's difficult. But how do you do that? How do you make sure your promises lead to action? Let's break it down into simple, actionable steps. 1. Start small. Begin with one promise. Don't overwhelm yourself with too many goals. Pick one thing that matters most and focus on it. 2. Set a clear goal. Define what success looks like. What is the end result you want to achieve? Make it specific and measurable. 3. Create a plan. Outline the steps you need to take. Break your goal into smaller tasks you can accomplish each day or week. 4. Stay accountable. Track your progress. Write down your actions and review them regularly. If you find yourself slipping, adjust your plan and keep moving forward. Consider this: if Jack Ma had let his early rejections define him, he would have never built Alibaba. Instead, he kept his promise to himself and took action every day. No matter how small the steps seemed, over time, those small actions compounded into massive success. Now, let's make this practical for you. Imagine the satisfaction of finally achieving what you set out to do. Imagine looking back a year from now and seeing how far you've come simply because you decided to take that first step today. To help you get started, here's a simple checklist you can follow. Write down one promise you've made to yourself. Define your goal. What does success look like? List the steps you need to take to reach that goal. Track your progress every day or week. Adjust your plan if need. Never stop moving forward. You can do this. The road to success is built one step at a time. Don't be discouraged by setbacks. They are part of the journey. Every small action you take today is a step closer to your goal. So what's one promise you've made to yourself? Write it down and take the first step today. You'll be amazed at what happens. Remember, in the words of stoic philosopher Epicurus, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This isn't just about achieving a goal. It's about becoming the person you aspire to be. The Stoic philosophy teaches us that our actions, not words, define us. So, take control of your life by turning your promises into actions. Your future self will thank you. Examples of action. You orient people in a world overflowing with talkers. The doers make a lasting impact. What separates those who achieve great from those who merely dream? The answer is straightforward: action. Ralph Waldo Emerson wisely noted, "An ounce of action is worth a ton of theory." This reminds us that while planning, essential execution makes a difference. Let's examine some remarkable examples of action-oriented individuals who transform their words into impactful deeds. One, Michael Jordan's name is synonymous with basketball greatness. His success wasn't just due to his innate talent and unwavering commitment to action. Jordan famously said, "I can accept failure. Everyone fails at something, but I can't accept not trying." His relentless practice and dedication, pushing himself to the limits daily, made him a legend. His actions, his early mornings, late nights, and constant drive set him apart. 2. Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a prime example of how action turns visions into reality. From launching SpaceX to pioneering electric vehicles with Tesla, Musk embodies the spirit of action here. Once said, "When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor." Musk's journey from a startup founder to a global innovator data showcases how persistent effort and bold actions can revolutionize entire industries. 3. Thomas Edison. Contributions to modern life were not the result of a single brilliant idea, but of relentless experimentation. Edison is remembered for inventing the light bulb, which was the outcome of thousands of trials. He famously said, "Genius is 1, inspiration, and 99 perspiration." Edison's success underscores the importance of perseverance and the power of consistent action in achieving breakthroughs. 4. Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela's journey from a prisoner to president of South Africa illustrates the impact of unwavering commitment to action. Mandela's dedication to ending apartheid and his subsequent efforts to build a new nation were driven by his actions. He stated, "It always seems impossible until it's done." Mandela's leadership and sacrifices demonstrate how profound and transformative consistent actions can be in the face of adversity. 5. Marie Curie. Marie C's groundbreaking work in radioactivity was marked by relentless research and experimentation. Despite numerous challenges, Curie's dedication to science led to significant advancements in medicine and physics. She said, "Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood." CC's actions, driven by a passion for knowledge, brought discoveries that changed the world. Reflect on these examples and think about someone in your life who inspires you through their actions. It could be a mentor, a friend, or a family member? What actions have they taken that made a difference? Consider one small action you can take today that might lead to significant results. Tomorrow, share your plans in the comments and start making progress. Now, being a man of action in everyday life. Have you ever noticed how the people we admire most are those who consistently follow through on their commitments? It's not about grand gestures. It's the small, consistent actions in everyday life that build true character, as Carl Jung aptly said, "You are what you do not. What you say, you'll do." This quote perfectly captures the essence of being a man of action. Relatable tips for personal life. Start with the little things at home, for instance. If you promise to handle the household chores, make sure you do them without being reminded. This might seem minor, but consistently doing what you say you'll do builds trust and respect, a Stoic philosopher. Epicurus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life." It is. Won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control in everyday terms. This means taking control of what you can, starting with your commitments. Relatable tips for professional life. In your professional life, being a man of action means reliably meeting deadlines and following through on promises. For example, completing a task without needing constant reminders shows reliability, as Theodore Roosevelt noted. Do what you can, with what you have, where you are. This approach builds a reputation as someone dependable and trustworthy, which can open doors to new opportunities and stronger professional relationships. Take a moment to reflect on your daily actions. Are there areas where your actions don't align with your words, for instance? Consider a promise you've made that you haven't yet fulfilled. Think about the impact of this inconsistency on your relationships. As Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius advised, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. This can also be applied to the quality of your actions. Incorporate practical action. Steps to turn intentions into actions. Follow this checklist. 1. Prioritize your commitments. Write down what you've promised to do. 2. Take one small action each day. Begin with manageable steps. 3. Review and adjust regularly. Check your progress weekly and adjust as needed. Use an on-screen checklist to reinforce these steps, making it easier to track your progress. Weave in everyday stories to illustrate how small actions can lead to greater trust and respect. For example, consider someone who consistently arrives on time for meetings. Their punctuality builds their reputation as reliable and considerate. Start with these small, relatable examples and build up to larger, impactful actions. Let us know in the comments what action you're taking today. How are you going to start being a man of action? You can build trust and respect through your actions by integrating these Stoic principles and actionable tips into your daily life. Why action is the true measure of a man. Throughout this video, we've explored why action, not words, is the true measure of a man. It's not what we intend to do, but what we actually do that defines us. Let's bring it all together and understand why this principle is the foundation of a life of integrity and purpose. There's a powerful saying that goes, in the end, we are judged by our actions, not our intentions. This couldn't be more true. Take a moment to reflect on its meaning. Our actions, rather than our words or intentions, truly define us. The power of action over words. Action. Build trust and respect far more effectively than mere words, as Seneca noted. It is not that we make promises, but that we keep them that defines our character. 2. The consequences of inaction. Failing to act on promises leads to losing credibility and trust, as the Stoic philosopher Epicurus said it is. Not events that disturb us, but our interpretation of those events. Inaction often stems from excuses or fears which tarnish our reputation. 3 small actions Big results consist in small actions, can lead to significant outcomes. As Aristotle observed, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. 4. Turning words into actions. Practical steps ensure promises are fulfilled. As Marcus Aurelius advised, do not waste time on what you might do or say, but focus on what you actually do. 5. Being a man of action in everyday life. Applying these principles daily builds character and respect, as the stoic philosopher Zeno of Citium said. Well, being is attained by little and little, and nevertheless, it is no little thing. Each of these points reinforces one simple truth: who we are is determined by what we do not, by what we say, will do. Think about your own life. Are your actions aligned with your intentions? Are you the person you want to be through what you do daily? Reflect on your commitments and ask yourself, am I following through? Am I taking action? At the end of the day, it's our actions that leave a mark on the world. People remember what we do far more than what we say. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say." When you take action, you achieve your goals and inspire those around you to do the same. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Right now, think of one action you've been meaning to take. Maybe it's a promise you've made or a goal you've set for yourself. Whatever it is, take that first step today. Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, as Lao wisely noted. If you're serious about living a life defined by action, join us, subscribe. Share your commitment in the comments, and let's hold each other accountable. As the Stoic philosopher Epicus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Remember, in the end, it's not what you intended to do that counts. It's what you did. Make sure your actions define you in the best possible way. Display the key. Quote, "We are judged by our actions, not our intentions." To reinforce the message visually in this journey, remember that each step you take shapes who you are becoming. Our lives are a series of actions, and every choice we make contributes to our legacy. As the Stoics remind us, the only real freedom we have is how we respond to the world. Make each response count by acting with intention and integrity. Let's make our actions speak louder than our words, and in doing so, define our true character.